Hello everyone, welcome back to Arudi Stitches YouTube channel. Hope you people are doing well. Right, today we are going to conclude this school bag. We have done part 1, part 2, and today we are going to do the part 3. The part 1 is the cutting tutorial, while the part 2 is when we started the sewing. So we are going to conclude the sewing in this part 3. So but before I start the training, I want to appeal to you all. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel to support me, and also help me to share my videos. It will not cost you anything. Just click on that share button and share it to your social media handle. You can share it anywhere. Help me to bring my YouTube channel to limelight so that people will understand what I'm doing here and other people can benefit from what I'm doing here also. So without taking your time, let's get started. Please, if you have not watched the part 1 and 2 of this video, do yourself a favor and do me a favor also to watch the part 1 and 2 before you watch the part 3. Let's get started. So okay guys, this is what I have now after joining the sewing it round. So what I'm going to do next now, what I did next is I decided where I want my zipper to start, the next zip cloth where I want it to start. So what I did is that from this here I measured 7 inches. I want you to start from this point, my zipper. So I measure 7 inches here. I also measure 7 inches here. So after measuring the 7 inches, I measured round this place. From this 7 inches point here, I measured it this way, till I get to this point here. So what I got is 22.5 inches. So you cut your zip cloth. Don't forget to add your sewing allowance because you need to join something, as in join it to the 7 inches down here and also here. So you add your sewing allowance here, add your sewing allowance here. So next thing I'm going to do now is that after that you fold it into 2. Fold it into 2 and notch the midpoint. I've already notched mine. So you bring this one, remember we have already sewn it at the center here. Well, I cut it into 2 and sew it. So you bring it. So this is automatically our midpoint. You bring your zip cloth and put it midpoint to midpoint, and right side of your zip cloth will face the right side of your leather. So I'm going to take it to my machine now, sew it down. After sewing it, I will tape it at once. Okay, I'm done sewing it. This is it. I've already also taped it. If you look at it, I've already fixed my zip head. So now when you sew it like this, you will definitely have excess on this side. So what you will do, as your zip is like this, you just use your zip to shape it, as in to trim off the excess. So now that I've done this, the next thing I'm going to do now is that 7 inches that we measured down here, from here to here. Remember we measured from here to here 7 inches. So you will cut it and also add your sewing allowance to it. Like me, I cut 7.5 here. Instead of 7 inches, I cut 7.5. So you will cut it and also cut lining for it. So the wideness is, you push this your taping towards your leather. Then you will measure what you have here, 1 3/4 inches. So this 1 3/4 inches is what I will cut as my leather by the 7.5 inches. Remember it's 7 inches. I added ½ inch for my sewing allowance. I will also cut lining for it. So now we are going to sew it. So what I will do now, cut my leather. My leather will face my leather. My lining will be under. I will stitch it. After stitching it, I flip it over and top stitch. I will do same to this side also. Okay, this is my, I've sewn the gusset now to it. This is what I have now. So remember I said that this is automatically the center. Now you just fold it by the like this and notch your zip cloth here. as it is like this, fold it, bring your zip cloth together and give it a small slight notch, just small. So we bring this, also fold it into two. You see, make sure that this joining point is together, and also this one here is also together. You fold it, everything will be aligned. You see it? I hope you are seeing it now after folding it now. So you see that everything aligned. You just give it a notch. I've already given mine a notch here. Okay, now we are going to sew this together with this. So we bring the zip cloth. It's the zip cloth you are going to sew. You make sure that the two notch points are together. Then you stitch it to this side and also to this side. So this is what I have now after sewing it down and also taping it. Now you will place it on your lining and cut a lining for it, which I have done. I've cut out a lining for it. Now before we sew our piping cord, you have to shape this point. So you can see I've already shaped it, but I've not cut it out. So what I did is that from this point I measured 1.5 inches here. From this same point also I went in by 1/2 inch. So I connected it to the 1/2 inch and curved it. So now I did the same thing on this side also. So now I'm going to cut it out. Now that I'm done shaping it, I'm going to put it on my lining. Then I'll bring my piping cord. If you are piping it, you pipe it at once. But if you are not piping it, you just sew your lining to it. So I'll start my piping from this midpoint here and pipe it round till I get back to this point again. I will sew it together with the lining under it. So guys, this is what I have now after piping it round. I'm done piping my work round. This is it. So this is what I have. So you will take it to your leather. You will place it on your leather as it is like this now. As I placed it on my table, you just trace it round. Make sure you open it very well. See the way I did now, what I just did now. Trace it round. When you get to this point, also open it very well this way and trace it round on your leather. Use it to cut the back. Then after cutting your back, you will also use the back to cut lining for the back. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I've cut out the back leather and the lining for it. I also cut out foam because I'm going to pad it. Like I always say, make sure that your foam is smaller than your leather. It's very important that your foam is smaller than your leather. So now that I've cut out everything now, I'm going to work on the back leather. So I'm going to keep these two aside. Going to sew my handle. You just use any handle of your choice. This is the handle I'm using for this tutorial. So what you will do, you notch the midpoint. So after notching the midpoint, I'm going to take like from the midpoint, I'm taking 3/4 inches. 3/4. So that is where I will place my handle from that line. From that my 3/4 line, that's where I will place my handle this way, and I will place the second one from the 3/4 line. This is how it's supposed to be, this and this. So I will take it to my sewing machine now. I will sew it down. Then here also I'm going to sew my belt on this side. I've also prepared it. So what this, I use 3 by 3. You can use 4 by 4 inches. I use 3 by 3 to get this. So what I'm going to do now, from down here, from this curve point here, or you start from this place that is not curved, I'm going to take 2 inches, or let me take 1.5. I'm taking 1.5. 1.5. So I'm going to flip it over. I will use it to get this side. The chalk will show. The chalk will show here. You see it? So this is my 1.5. So as I go to my sewing machine now, I'm going to put it from this 1.5 line. That is where it will start. I will sew it. I'll bring the second one also. I'll put it from that 1.5 line. I'll place it and sew. So by the time I'm done sewing it, I'll bring it and we'll see what I have done. So I'm done sewing my handle and also my belt. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my lining. So I'll place my leather on top of my lining this way, as it is now. So I'm going to pipe it round. I'm going to use my piping cord to pipe it. I will start my piping from this point, the middle, the midpoint here. I will pipe it round. I'll pipe it round. When I pipe it and get to somewhere here, I will insert my foam and continue my piping till I get back to where I started from. So after piping the back, this is what I have. I'm done piping it, and I've measured it round to know what the round of this my bag is. So when I measured it round, I got 50.5 inches. So that of that 50.5 inches, I want the up to be 24 inches and the down to be 26.5 inches. Then so I'm going to cut out gussets for the bag. I'm cutting the back now to be 27. Remember, it's 26.5. I'm going to cut 27.5 for the down, while the up that is 24 inches, I'm going to cut 25 inches for it. So that is my sewing allowance. And when you see, when you cut it, when you sew it finish, before you close it up, you measure the gusset and be sure that what you have is exactly 50. Like this one now, that's 50.5 inches. When I sew it the gusset now, make sure that what I have is 50.5 inches before I join it to the body. So I'm going to cut my gusset now. Okay, I've cut out the gusset. This is the gusset now. As for this upper gusset, I divided it into two. Remember, it's the gusset is 25 inches for the up, while the wideness I cut is 6 inches. The down is also 6 inches. So out of these 6 inches, I divided it into two, and here is 1.5, here is 4.5 inches. That's how I divided the upper gusset. I've also sewn my school bag handle. You just sew any handle of your choice when you are making yours. So this gusset, I've also cut lining for it. So I'm going to start the sewing now to prepare my gusset. I'm going to sew a zipper to it now. First, I have to keep my lining this way. I will bring my zip cloth. I'll put my zip cloth on my lining. The wrong side of my zip cloth will face my lining. Then I will put my leather on top. The right side of my leather will face the right side of my zip cloth. I will sew it down. After sewing it, I will flip it over and top stitch on it. So the same thing is what I will do to this one. I will sew this one on the second side of the zip cloth. So that is it for it. Okay, I'm done sewing my zip cloth to my upper gusset. I've also gone ahead to fix my zip head. So now is the time to sew it together with the down gusset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my lining. This is my lining for the down gusset. I will place my upper gusset on it. I place my upper gusset on the lining. I hope you are seeing what I just did. Then I will now place my leather to the upper gusset. The down gusset will be facing the upper gusset, right side facing each other. So I will stitch it here. I will now come to this side. I will bring the two leather together like this, bring the lining also together under it this way. So I will stitch it. After stitching it, I will turn it over and top stitch on it and sew this lining together with this. Okay, after joining my two gussets together, this is what we have now. Please, before you sew it here, after joining, you cross check to be sure that what you have here is what is on the measurement you get when you measured it round. Okay, now we are going to sew it to the body of our bag. So first you notch to get the midpoint. It's very important. You notch. Very, very important. You notch. We come to this side also. Notch. Stretch it very well. Make sure that it balanced well. You notch. Then you get your body, the body of your back also. This is the back. You will also have to notch the middle. Bring it together. Fold it into two. To notch. Bring the front also. Fold into two. And notch. I'm trying to be sure that it's equal. I don't want to notch at the wrong side or the wrong part. Okay, I'm notching it now. Notch. So now we are going to sew it. So you are going to turn this to the wrong side. So we bring our leather. This is the front. This is the front leather. So I'm sewing it on this smaller gusset. Remember, we have the big one and the small one. So the small one is what I'm going to sew on my front leather. So I put it right side to right side. Make sure that their two notch points are together. So you put the two notch points together. You also put the down one. The two notch points of the down one also. You put it together. Then I will sew it round. After sewing it round, I will turn it this way and pick the back, put it, arrange it and sew. Then after sewing it, I will tape it at once. Okay guys, after sewing my bag, sewing the gusset to the front and back leather, this is what I have. This is it. I've also taped my bag round. You can see I've taped it round. So now I'm going to open it up so that we see what it looks like. Okay guys, after turning my bag to the right side, this is what I have now. This is what my bag look like now. If you have watched to this extent and you have not subscribed to my channel, please do me a favor to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, share my videos, and please don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be among the first person to be notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you for watching and God bless you.